You spoke about infrastructure, the state of infrastructure in the country. Power is one major area that bothers the minds of Nigerians at this time. How do you think that community radio operators will surmount the hurdle of power supply, for example, in our rural areas?
Power supply is a major problem. It's not a problem we can wish away. And like I said, this is the problem of power supply in the country is clearly from the result of inability of government to either provide the what it takes or put in the appropriate policy to make sure that this is in place. But be that as it may, I just said that I visited a village in rural Liberia where the group of young people there who run the radio station run the radio station on 4 car batteries. 2 are charging in the next town that has electricity. They have 1 running the station and 1 on standby. So the issue is, if people are really interested in extending the reach of their voices, it then means there is a will, and where there is a will, there must be a way.
Thank you. You've spoken well, about this power supply thing. Now, in the Nigerian context, or in a number of other countries that I have visited, I have seen people, canvass the use of solar energy, for example. Some say, okay, let us stick to power generators. Some say, okay, batteries, as you have just mentioned. How realistic, how useful are these in our kind of environment, these kinds of power sources?
Small end generators, the proverbial tigers, are not very good for running radio stations because they are not very well regulated power. But because they are cheap, and they are cheap to acquire, were relatively cheap to acquire, it costs in the region of 10 to 15,000 naira, and relatively cheap to run, fuel of about 100 to 200 naira a day will fuel a Tiger 750 V generator. Now, the strategy, therefore, is to use such generators to charge batteries and then use the batteries to run the stations so that you can then have constant and regulated power. It's a simple approach, simple solution to the problem. That's what I mean by where there's a will, there's a way. The ideal solution, as you said, will be solar electricity. The only problem is that the setup cost of solar is very high, particularly for the photovoltaic cells that actually convert the energy from light into energy as electricity. They are very, very expensive. But if through any capacitation it is possible for rural radios to get solar power, then they are relieved of the need of the running cost of fuel, because you don't need to buy fuel, you don't need to buy engine oil, you don't need to buy the various consumables that are normally used to run generators. The main point here is that we have a power system that has no moving parts, and moving parts are the basic Achilles heel of technology. Once you have movement, you have wear. Once you have wear, you have tear, and after some time the system breaks down. But once you have a system that has no moving parts, then you have a totally different set of dynamics in the process. So the main problem with solar power is that it is expensive to acquire. But once you manage to acquire it, then you are doing well for a long time to come.